Well, welcome back to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder. That young, dashingly good-looking man on the screen with me is Ryan Pedon, the head basketball coach for the Illinois State Redbirds. They're going to be playing in the NIT starting Wednesday night. They've got Kent State, not an easy draw for them. We'll talk about that today. But first of all, Ryan, congratulations. 2 years in a row. Maybe it's more. I don't know. But for sure, the last 2 years, postseason play for the Redbirds. Incremental steps of growth for the Redbird program.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Harry. It's a privilege to be playing in the postseason, regardless of the tournament. At our level, as we all know, it's hard to get into the postseason, number one. Obviously, it's been very difficult for our league to get more than one team into the NCAA tournament. So being able to represent our league, our school, our institution, our fans, our alumni in a postseason setting, that's a privilege, and I'm excited to be coaching this time of year. There's nothing worse than turning the page and going into the off season when you wish you were playing. So we're excited and happy to be hosting for sure.
Last year, you guys played in the CBI, won the CBI, and good for you. NIT is actually a step better. People may not realize that it's significantly better to be in the NIT than in the CBI.
It's harder. There's no question. If you take a look at the metrics, if you take a look at the, I know that there's probably some high majors that declined to play in the NIT. I've really never understood that. But besides that, like this is the best of the best outside of the NCAA tournament. And like I said, it's a privilege. And no matter who you play, I think sometimes for young people, they've heard of these teams. Maybe they've seen them play a little bit, but you're going to be potentially playing teams from other regions very quickly in short order. So you need to understand going in that any team playing in the postseason is there for a reason, and we're going to play against really good teams this time of year.
We'll talk about your game Wednesday night in a minute. At the end, this captivated me. At the end of Arch Madness for Illinois State, press conference is over, and okay, coach, thanks. And Chase interrupts the proceedings saying, I just want to say this. Love my team, love my coach. I'd die for these people. Talk about that moment to you. And I thought it spoke volumes. I retweeted it, put it back out there. This says volumes of information out to people watching the Valley and watching Illinois State basketball.
Yeah, I think I've been asked about that a few times since, and what I would say first is it was a very spontaneous moment. Chase has a great personality. When he's in a comfortable setting with his teammates, talking's not a problem for him. But when he does get into more of a media or press conference type setting, usually he's going to say less words. I don't think he's necessarily very comfortable in those settings. Most young guys aren't. So for him to speak up, after the questioning was done, it kind of surprised everybody in the room, and it was cool. I just think it speaks to how he feels about his experience here at Illinois State. There's a lot that goes into that, right? Like your teammates, the guys that you're going to battle with, how strong that you feel about those guys, the experience you have. I say this all the time. There's not a whole lot of things in this era that a mid-major coach can control once the season's over on the outside. Usually, you're going to have to, if you keep guys, you're going to have to keep them with the understanding that they're staying, but they could have made more money elsewhere. There's a lot of factors that maybe we can't control in that regard. But what we can control is the experience that they're having and the relationships that they're being affected by. And I think that's maybe what Chase was speaking to. And yeah, I think it touched everybody in that room, and I'm proud of him because he's had a lot of growth physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it. And that's what I'm in this for, is to help young people grow and continue to get better.
Johnny had similar comments yesterday. I just happened to see them on Twitter. There was I guess you guys had practice, maybe media was there or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, man, I love this team. I love the guys in the locker room. I love competing with my teammates. And and it's clear that you've built a culture there. You, your team, your coaches, your players have built a culture there that invites that, and guys truly feel like they belong. And so I don't know. I kind of want to say, wow, way to go. But secondly, like that's major, isn't it? Like you said, this is why you're doing what you're doing.
It is. And I think, that's always going to be at the foundation of what our programs are about is, when I took the job here, Harry, I was very clear, like maybe this is an old school view. And certainly there's a lot that's changed since I took the job,
Yeah,
4 years ago. But I was never trying to come to Illinois State to microwave the program and get in and get out. I want to be a part of building a house, a foundation to live in here. And I think for coaches and leaders that build sustainable programs, I think that it's one of the hardest things to do in this era, at our level especially. Because it's not going to be built on transactions and just naming the highest dollar amount every year. So we hold tight to like I said, what we can control, and the culture, what your program inside the walls of your program looks like, acts like, feels like when nobody's around. That's the stuff that I do feel very strongly about. And I think generally speaking, if you have the right guys in the locker room, the results will follow. And I think you've seen a progression over our 4 years of that. It's not where we want it to be yet, but we are certainly headed that way and tracking in a positive direction.
Yeah, you led me right into what is actually my next question is the overall journey, right? The handful of years you guys have been there, there's this steady growth. And last year you win the CBI, and I think you finished with maybe 22 wins by winning those games in the CBI. And so there was a lot of hoopla about who you guys might be this year. And so some people might look at 20 wins and go into the NIT. Oh, that's not good enough because we were supposed to win the thing. Yeah. But 2 more conference wins than a year ago, still at 20 wins in a better postseason tournament than a year ago. The overall journey is on that trajectory that is, if I'm an Illinois State fan, which I am, I'm encouraged by the trajectory of this program.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you don't reach your goal, right? Like there's 11 teams in our league, 10 of them went home disappointed, and only one team goes home with a championship. Certainly, there's a level of disappointment with, man, that last game we didn't win, and that can that can be a short-term disappointment there. But I think as the leader of the program, what I really need to do and continue to do a job on is giving perspective to this, right? There has been a continual growth. I'm not sitting here selling anything. What I'm doing is projecting our program in the light that I think it needs to be projected. And the narrative, right? We were picked to win the conference this year. Why was that? Well, we had some good momentum from last year. We won a postseason tournament. We had our majority or just about all of our roster coming back. And, we were 5 seed in the tournament last year. So we hadn't arrived. Right. So we were being picked first because of the guys we had returning. And if you look at all the preseason prognostications, Northern Iowa was second because they had the second most. So the reality is, I think the preseason rankings probably matter less now in this era than ever before because fans and media and sports writers don't know anything about most of the rosters. There were 31 conferences, Harry, in college basketball this year, meaning there were 31 teams that were picked to win their conference, and only 12 won their conference. So
now you've done the deep dive here.
It's hard.
You've done some research.
It's hard. And for our program to finish third and get our first bye in 9 years, we've got back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time since the 09-10 season. My point guard was 2 years old the last time we won back-to-back 20 wins. So, I'm going to choose to build on the positives and continue to get better. That's a big part of it too, is no one's content, but I'm certainly not going to be dissuaded or distracted by, disappointment, short-term disappointment. We got to keep a perspective of what we're doing and keep our eyes on the prize.
And I think about 400 or 500 more people in the stands per game in terms of attendance. I mean, the thing is growing. And so, like you said, we're such an instant society. Everybody wants something right now. And that steady progress that we see in the Redbird program is exciting to me as a Valley fan and a Redbird fan. We are heading into the NIT, but before we get there, you're a basketball guy. So your favorite March Madness memory that isn't winning the CBI last year?
Well, personally, for me personally, being a game I was involved in, I would say 2007, when I was at Miami of Ohio. We had 3.8 seconds left. Akron was up 2 and shooting a 1-and-1. Certainly, if they make both free throws, it's game over. And they missed the front end of the 1-and-1. We got the rebound, outletted to Michael Bramos, took it up the floor and made a pass to Doug Penno. Doug Penno hits a game-winning 3 at the buzzer off the glass. And, it was instant pandemonium in Cleveland. Back then it was called the Gund Arena. And that was probably to go, we were the 4 seed that year, but to go to the NCAA tournament on a buzzer beater bank shot, man, that would be tough to beat. Even if I coached 50 years, that one would be tough to beat. Of course, going to the Sweet 16 when I was at Butler was great. We lost to eventual national champion North Carolina. But I'm thankful to be playing this time of year, man. I really am. Like I'm a dreamer, and I never ever want to lose that feeling. There's a kid inside me that I'll never let go of. And when
awesome.
You get to March and you hear one shiny moment, like, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and that's when you know you're living, Harry.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are in the NIT. 4 Missouri Valley teams are in the NIT. Bradley's playing as well, UIC, and I'm forgetting somebody off the top of my head. Who else is the other team?
It would be, let's see, Murray State.
I have it right in
Murray
front
State.
of me. Murray State, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Bradley,
scrolling it
Murray
across
State.
the bottom of the screen. I could read my own computer, right?
Yeah.
So that's exciting, I think, for so many Valley teams to be playing in postseason play. You guys have Kent State, great record. Do the Golden Flashes have?
Yeah.
And they have a big guy that scores a ton of points, averages, I think, a double-double, Gillespie. Yeah. It's going to be a nice little matchup between Chase and Gillespie. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So we have a lot of familiarity with their program. I coached at Kent State from 2002 to 2005. And one of the guys that was on staff with me is now their head coach, Rob Senderoff. He's one of my very best friends in the business. So what a unique, he's a mentor. He's one of my best friends in the business. I literally talk to him every day. So when we found out we were playing each other, and I found out before he did, so I called him and I said, "Can you believe it?" He said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Cindy," I said, "load the bus. You're heading to Normal." And he said, "No way." So I've obviously seen them and followed them a little bit more than Normal this year and in past years. So I do have a familiarity. Rico Gillespie, 23. I think he'll be the best big man we've played all year long. I do. He's his ability to affect the game on the glass, at the free throw line, and just with his overall force and physicality in the paint. I think he's a guy who could play in the NBA. I do. And I think he's a high level mid-major player. It will be, what did they say? Appointment television, he and Chase, competing and going at it. So I'm looking forward to that, but they're certainly much more than just Gillespie. They're very physical. They get to the free throw line at an elite level, top 20 in the country. They offensive rebound at an elite level, top 20 in the country, and they shoot a ton of threes and play with great pace. It will give us a different look than a traditional Valley team. Probably one of the closest comparables might be Murray State, and with a little bit of mixture of UIC, their athleticism. So you always want to frame games in the non-conference in these settings, I think, for your players a little bit so they understand what to expect and what's required. We won't know them as well, but they won't know us as well. And there's something very pure about that this time of year. So we're going to be as prepared as we possibly can over this 3-day stretch. And we got a chip on our shoulder. I want our guys coming out. The phrase I've been using with them, Harry, is what we absolutely have to have is we got to be at our competitive best. And normally the results follow that for our team, for our particular team. Can't allow frustration to affect our spirit. Can't allow shots going in to affect our effort on the defensive end, anything like that, especially this time of year. Because if you're not in that frame of mind, you'll be home real quick.
I talked to a coach the other day who said, I've given my guys some time off, and man, trying to refine that competitive passion, that there's an art form to that, isn't it? Because they've had some time off. They're okay. Our season's over. Maybe it's not over. Trying to figure that out. There's an art form to getting your guys back to that place.
Yeah, for sure. And you've got, there's a lot of dynamics probably as well, because you got younger guys that are probably, being hit up by agents and other people telling them that they can make a certain amount of money or transfer here and do this and do that. Then you got older guys that are sort of pondering their future. I've been fortunate enough to play in a good handful of these NITs, and it's not the NCAA, but for the NIT, my focus or non-NCAA tournaments, my focus always starts with the oldest guys that you have on the team, because I want to gauge where's their heart at. Some guys are kind of ready for it to be over sometimes, and I get it. They're at the 11th hour of their career, but I told them ahead of time, like, I'm going to play my toughest, most competitive, hardest playing guys, and I'm not going to sacrifice anything this time of year. And we got to play to our standard. But yeah, it's you got to find yourself here after the Valley tournament. We all went away for a week, and you got to be able to create that competitive edge and get back in game mode real quick.
I talked to Dalton Banks the other day. He and Marcus Damask, they're doing a training, kind of equipping, mentoring kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he just loved his time at Illinois State.
Awesome.
And I was reflecting on that the other day, just about because he'd been a couple places, right? And like those other places too. But he couldn't say enough things about how well he felt treated and taught and all of that by you and your staff. And it also made me think about your team this year. Like, I don't think of Johnny as a point guard. He had to be a point guard this year.
Yeah.
But I don't think of him as a point guard, meaning, like, I think he does other things maybe better, and he ended up having to be a point guard. And what a difference Dalton made on your team a year ago.
You hit the nail on the head. Johnny, interesting stat here for you, Harry. Johnny had 101 assists this year, played more point guard than he did the previous year. Although I did play him for a portion of the season off the ball as well. But he was our point guard for the meat of our Valley season. So anyhow, Johnny had 101 assists this year. Johnny had 101 assists last year as well. Okay. Wow. The biggest difference when you look at our stat sheet in that category is the next closest guy to him last year was Dalton Banks, who had 144. So he was 43 ahead of him. Our next closest guy with assists this year had 60, and that was my center. Okay, he was a tremendous playmaker and passer.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and it's not saying, I played two freshmen a lot of minutes this year. Both are very willing passers. Both are going to be tremendous players. I couldn't be more
super
excited
upside,
about it.
Yeah.
But when you throw two freshmen into the fire, one averaging 18 minutes a game, one averaging 23 minutes a game, like you're putting yourself out there and saying, man, I really trust these guys, and I did. But to your point, Dalton Banks, he won us a lot of games last year. He also made those around him look really good because of his ability to pass. And he was the ultimate team player with experience. I think I have ultimate team players on my team now, and some of them have a variety of experience, But I see real promise in that, Harry. We have 5 of our top 7 leading scorers that could return next year. So I see positives from that, and that's why retention is such a important facet of this program building. Yeah,
it's huge. And now we have new portal dates that mean zero. Meaning, like every hour, I have somebody on my Twitter feed announcing that they're entering the portal, although the portal's not open for 3 more weeks.
I know.
It's just
odd.
wild. And like you mentioned, agents talking to people, it's got to be extremely difficult. Even right now, you're getting ready for the NIT, but you might have people, DMing guys about what they can make, at XYZ University. And so it's constant, isn't it? It's year round that you have to be aware of those things and talking to your guys.
You do. I think you got to educate them, get them to understand the focus, the mental focus that's required. I just have seen it, not just in our team. I think when I talk to my friends and my coaches, I think, I think there's some complexities there that speak to what you're talking about that affect performance with student athletes, and not intentionally, but I think the subconscious, I think the mental aspect it's showing. I think with kids, you see more and more when they do struggle. I think the bottom falls out sooner than it did when 5, 10, 15 years ago. I just do. I've seen a real shift there. There's a maturity that's required. If you've got agents DMing you the whole entire season, like we've got guys, and that can be a major distraction. The reality is distractions take you off of your path, right? They lead you to a path to nowhere. And to be the best, you got to have an abnormal focus, an abnormal commitment to team, and an abnormal understanding and maturity when you get in those type situations. That will be there after the season. I have to pour my energies, mental and physical, into what I'm doing here and now.
You mentioned your freshman, and I think of Tyreek, and he really had a terrific year, I thought. How important is a game like Wednesday night? Meaning, now we have another postseason opportunity to grow as a team, to grow as a player, different level of, just experience and so forth. How big is it for those 2 young guys that you were just talking about?
Yeah, you want experiences for all of your players. I always talk about shared experiences for our team, for our group. Good, bad, everything in between. I think the more shared experiences you can have, can really be a positive and build positive and bring positive attributes to your program and your teamism. For individually speaking, I think when you talk about Tyreek and Mason Claybo being able to play in the postseason against really good teams, that's when you grow. I want to play really good teams this time of year. I think that's where you grow. That's where you improve. Only way you're going to get better is by going through hard stuff, playing really good teams that require you to dig deep. And the teams that want to dig deep and are in the right frame of mind this time of year usually keep playing or have a great chance to keep playing. So that I'm excited. I think it can bring our freshman group great experience here playing in the NIT, and then let's build on it and keep pushing forward.
You were able to do that last year. You win the CBI, and as you mentioned, you bring a lot of those guys back this year, and another 20-win season. You signed some early guys, some guys back in the fall, more Illinois guys coming into Illinois State. I think that's maybe an ingredient that's important. I mean, you just don't hunker down and say, well, we don't recruit other people, but getting folks from your state and maybe nearby, it's maybe an ingredient that helps. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. When I took the job, Harry, I made this very clear. We'll recruit nationally, okay? But 80% of our roster or more needs to come within 6 hours of this campus. I've worked professionally. I've lived and worked within 3 states, a 3-state radius here for my entire coaching career. And I've built strong-rooted relationships in this region. And I believe in basketball in this region. We've got a great state here of highly successful coaches and players, great programs. I know if we're doing our job recruiting at the grassroots level, and I always want to build our program with guys that we can develop within our program and have that be a real part of our model. then doing it with guys from especially this state, Illinois. We're always going to start from our home base and build out. And I think most of our recruiting efforts, our coaches would tell you, are focused on those areas. And we can win the Valley recruiting that way, no question in my mind.
The Golden Flashes average 85 a game.
Yeah.
Talk to me about slowing them down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the transition game's a big part of that. Number one, you got to take care of the basketball. Number two, your shot selection's got to be really good. Okay, we can't settle. Let's not get into playing their kind of game where it's possessions don't matter. One of the Harry, I'll share this with you. I shared this with our team yesterday. One of the things that I really realized last year playing in the CBI was I felt like when we got into postseason play, we were prepared at a different level because of the gauntlet that we had gone through in our league, the purity of the basketball, the character required to win Valley games, not giving possessions away, having to do your job over and over and over and over. You've seen, I mean, we just got done with Arch Madness and you see it. If you're not winning possessions consistently, you won't be there long. And when you get into postseason play, I think that becomes even more important. So I like to feel like we're at a real advantage because of the last 2.5 months that we've had to, go through this 20-game gauntlet that, it tests you in every way imaginable.
Before I let you go, if I've read the bracket correctly, and if you both winning, I think to get out of your quadrant or whatever, you'd have to face Bradley. I think you guys are in the same one. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to read brackets. I get cross-eyed.
Harry,
how wild would that be?
That would be wild. That would be appointment television there. Yeah, that would be.
I was waiting for it at Arch Madness. I thought, wow, that would have been crazy in St. Louis for the two of you to match up because you guys were going to hit each other the next round.
You and me both, Harry. Yeah, and me both. Yeah, that was. Bradley had that was a hard fought game. That game before, we were waiting in the locker room, and of course we had the late game, so we were waiting there, and it just kept going and going and going. So that would have been, but we've had some great games with Bradley. In our 4 years here, and it's a fun game to be a part of. Yeah, that would be a really cool story. There's some really good teams in between that game on our side of the bracket and theirs. But I was happy that they made it. I really was, because I was hearing early in the week, I think Brian was too, that it was going to be tough. And then to realize on Sunday night that 4 Valley teams made it, I was tickled. I really was. I was excited for our league, and we have a chance now to get out there and kind of prove what I'm saying is, this is a damn good basketball conference that I think people on the outside don't know enough about. And it's our job to kind of put our money where our mouth is now. If I'm saying that, actions are going to speak louder than words, Harry.
There you go. Appreciate your time. Go do some damage in the NIT. Looking forward to keeping up with what you guys are doing in this postseason. As always, really appreciate your time. You're always super gracious to me. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Harry. Appreciate it.
That's Ryan Pedon. He's the head coach of the Illinois State Redbirds. 7:00 tomorrow night, Wednesday night. In case you're watching this on Wednesday, it's Wednesday night, 7 p.m. They've got Kent State. It's going to be a great game as they try to advance to the NIT. Folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget, remember, you should like and subscribe these YouTube videos. They always tell me I don't say that enough. And appreciate you being with us. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.